This is Earl White, real estate attorney. This is a video about how to disapprove a contract during the attorney review process in New Jersey. If you signed a standard realtor contract, you may not want to be bound by it, and you have 3 business days to cancel this contract. So we're going to talk about the steps to do that so you don't become bound to a contract. And as a result, the first step to cancel or disapprove or terminate a contract during attorney review in New Jersey is to ensure it is a standard realtor contract. The attorney review process only applies to realtor contracts. The reason that the whole 3 business day attorney review was the result of a settlement between the State Bar Association for the attorneys and the New Jersey Association of Realtors. Realtors can do the act of law, creating a contract, as long as attorneys have an opportunity within 3 business days to review the contract with the client and cancel it. You can tell, because I have the contract here, you can tell if it's a standard realtor contract because at the beginning of the second page, at least as of the form from 2025, this is a legally binding contract that will become final within 3 business days. During this period, may choose to consult an attorney who can review and cancel the contract. So that specifically on page 2 applies the ruling from the case I mentioned that an attorney review applies to these realtor contracts. The second step in canceling a contract during the attorney review process is hiring an attorney. Contrary to popular opinion, a buyer or seller cannot just cancel the contract during attorney review. They must legally retain an attorney, and then, only then, can the contract be rightfully canceled. As I mentioned, that's due to the settlement between the attorneys and the realtor. So an attorney has to be involved in the cancellation. The third step in canceling a contract during the attorney review process is that the attorney has to prepare a notice. The notice is often called the notice of cancellation, notice of disapproval. Basically, it's a letter or an email or some form, a fax, some form of communication to either the other side of the party. So if you're the seller canceling, you must notify the buyer, or if you're the buyer, you must notify the seller. So you send the correspondence, the attorney will send the correspondence, and it will use language like, I represent the buyer, John Smith, who is purchasing this property from the seller, Jane Doe. I have reviewed the contract of sale between the parties dated whatever date it was. I hereby disapprove of the purchase agreement. So you need that language, something very comparable to that, to execute the cancellation of the contract. The fourth step in disapproving a contract during the attorney review process in New Jersey is you must deliver the notice prepared by the attorney to the other party. That notice can be delivered via email, fax, paper mail. The courts have ruled that it can be done via voicemail, believe it or not. But the best practice is you send it in writing, whether that's via email, or it's customary that if there's another attorney on the other side of the transaction, that you don't need to send it in paper anymore, that you can just send it via email. So you send that notice via email. If there is no other attorney for you to correspond with, then I would recommend you would send it via paper mail to the other party's address that they put on the contract, and you would just send it there. Typically, I would recommend sending via overnight mail this way to make sure it arrives within the 3 business days, within the 3 business day period. Though, as long as you send it in the 3 business day period, that would be sufficient for the cancellation. So you would want to make sure, though, I always try to make sure at least that the seller or the buyer who we're canceling on has it in advance of the 3 business day period, if that's possible. Thank you for listening to this video. Hopefully it was helpful in outlining the process for disapproving a contract. If you need to disapprove a contract, feel free to contact our law firm. We disapprove contracts on a regular basis, and we'll do that either to begin the attorney review process, where we may negotiate the next steps of the rider, or if you simply need to move on from the real estate transaction, we can send the notice of disapproval, and then you can no longer be binded by that contract.